Hello there everyone. Well, my name is Maxine. Welcome to my yoga YouTube channel. If you are new to yoga, don't worry, I began my yoga journey in this very room here 9 years ago by following yoga YouTube videos like yourself, so you are in the right place. I hope you enjoy. I do like to begin on foot, so we're standing either feet together or hip width apart. So the feet would be slightly turned in over just to align the joints up, and pelvis tucked under, shoulders softly roll back and down. So standing nice and tall, lengthening through the spine. Imagine there was a thread pulling from the top of our head up to the sky. Taking a nice deep inhale, filling up the lungs, feeling the ribcage expand, and then palms to prayer, to the heart centre. So exhale and hold it here for a moment, with some nice deep conscious breaths. Sign out on the exhale if you want to release any stress and tension, maybe once, twice or 3 times. And then tuning into a natural rhythm in and out through the nose, closing your eyes, or just taking the gaze softly off the tip of the nose. Just taking a moment to arrive in the here and now, in the present moment, using our breath to connect our mind with our body and our inner being and our inner essence of peace and calm and love and joy that resides within us always and is accessible to us, especially through the practice of yoga. And it enables us, it teaches us to access this in our daily lives. So standing nice and tall, arms down by our side in mountain pose to begin with, and let's take a nice deep breath in, bringing the palms together and bringing them interlocked, fingers straight, arms inhaling up to the sky. Really stretch it up, feel that extra lengthening through the sides, and then exhale over to one side. Inhale back to center. Again, really lengthen and reach, and exhale to the opposite side. Feeling that lovely stretch down the side, and then inhale back to center. Again, reach it up, lengthen and stretching, and then exhale, bring the palms around the back of the head. Let's take an inhale and open the heart. Maybe soften the knees to help get the heart up to the sky. And then exhale, round it down, tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. And the last time, exhale, round. Chin to chest, just hold it here for several breaths, just lengthening through the neck. And release the fingers, take the arms down by our sides. And take an inhale as we roll the head to one side, ear to shoulder, and to the back. Exhale as we bring it to the opposite side and to the front, and then the opposite direction. Inhale to ear to shoulder, to the back, and exhale as we bring it back to the side and to the front. Let's inhale, bring the palms together, taking a slight back bend, and pray. Soften the knees, hinge and fold. And then we're going to lift it up halfway, so you could have the fingertips on the ground, on the shins, or on the thighs. And then exhale into chair. Inhale, bring it up, palms together, slight back bend. Exhale, fold. inhale. Again, halfway. Exhale, chair. See if you can bring it down a little deeper. And then inhale as we bring it up. Slight back bend. Exhale, bend in the knees, hinge and fold, and hold it here. Taking it into just a nice relaxing ragdoll, either allowing the arms to fall or grabbing the elbows. Relaxing the head, neck and shoulders, letting go of any stress and tension you might be holding on to. Maybe it's a gentle sway. And also at the same time, stretching out the hamstrings. You may want to take little pulses up and down at the center. Or sway, deep breaths. And then place the palms on the ground, so when you bend the knees, plant the palms and step it back into our first downward facing dog. If it's not right for you to come into a down dog at this point, you may come down into tabletop and take some cat-cows, or down into a child pose if that's what you would prefer, how you would prefer to start. Either way, nice deep breaths. If you're in a down dog, want to sink it back, aligning the arms with the back, hips to the sky. Push the ground away, heels towards the ground. Bend the knees to help push up the hips. Allow the heart to melt towards the ground. So you could pedal, sway, hold it on one side, look underneath the armpit of the straight leg, deepening the stretch down that leg. And then exchange when you are ready. Or just hold a nice strong triangle, working on finding a nice alignment. Just relaxing that head, maybe turn it to one side, up and down. Shake it back and forth, and then gaze forward into tabletop. And let's take some cat-cows here to warm up the spine. Inhale, chin up, tailbone up. Exhale, tuck it in. Maybe stay static or move it around in any way which feels good for you. Beginning to lower the bum towards the heels, little by little. And then when you are comfortably down with the bum to the heels, take a little rock from side to side. Anybody has problems with the joints, yoga is brilliant for just getting the synovial fluid moving around and helping ease any aches and pains there and any tightness. And then let's stretch out the hands in front into one variation of child pose, active passive arms, just melting the heart, resting the forehead. You could passive arms or prayer behind the head. And then let's bring the gaze forward and bring it forward. Checking the elbows are rotated insides forward here, opposed to out, because if you bend the elbows when the elbows are out, they're going to bend that way. We want to avoid that most of the time unless we're threading the needle, so insides forward. So we've inhaled, exhale, taking the weight also forward and lowering it down, chest and chin to the ground. Pull the shoulders back and push it through the palms into baby cobra. Pull the shoulders back and down away from the ears. And exhale it back. So this is a really good way also for warming up the spine. So in your own time, inhale forward, exhale it down, inhale it up, a little higher each time in the cobra, and exhale it back. Nice deep breath, and again rotate, lower down, pull it back, and lift it up, elbows always bent, tucked into the sides, and hold it here for several breaths in the cobra. And then let's bring it back into child pose. stretching out the arms, all passive, all prayer. And then plant the palms and bring it up into tabletop. Inhale, chin up, tailbone up, tuck the toes under, lift it and sink it back into down dog. Again, static still, pedal, sway, whatever feels right for you. And then gaze forward. You can either walk the feet to the hands or you can rock it onto the toes and jump to the front of the mat. Fold it over here. Grab onto either the backs of the ankles, calves, bent knees, chest to thighs, allowing the head to fall to the shins. Maybe you want to grab the big toes, in which case you do pull the elbows out in this situation, and or hug behind the calves. And then let's release and inhale up to the sky. Palms together. And exhale into prayer. So that's just a lovely little warm up. That really just warm up the spine, stretches out the hamstrings a little, and prepares us to begin. So before we begin, let us just notice how we feel from when we started. Maybe you can notice the breath going a little faster, the heartbeat going a little quicker. Just taking a moment to notice any sensations in the body. And just finding that moment of stillness in the present, here and now. Not thinking about the past or the future. Freeing ourselves from all of any worries and cares. And that arms down a mountain pose. Inhale up to the sky, slight back bend. Press, soften the knees, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway flat back again, hands on the shins or the ground or the thighs. Bend the knees, step it back into plank. And then we're going to take it through and down. So you could drop the knees if you wish. Inhale, exhale, down to the ground or halfway through and up dog or cobra. And then back to down dog. Nice strong triangle. Not too much distance between the hands and the feet, because we want to make the hips high to allow more room for the leg to come through when we step it through. So just a nice deep breath in and out. Raise the right leg up to the sky, point the foot, flex the foot, pushing the ground away, point the foot, bend the knee, look underneath the right armpit for that little bit extra opening. Just push the ground away, feel that pulling of the hip back, circle the foot in one direction, then the opposite way, and back again. Point the foot, straighten the leg, lift it high, square the hips to the ground. Come out to the ball of the left foot, right knee through to nose, keep the hips high, weight forward, step it through, grab the ankle if need be, and then bring it up into a lunge. Let's take several breaths here. And then turn the arms followed by the foot, repositioned into warrior two. Warrior two, heel to heel with the lunge. We had feet on separate tracks, both in alignment with each hip. Warrior two, we are on the same track. So heel to heel or heel to arch, make sure your knee doesn't fall in or out. You want to bend into it so the knee's over the ankle. Nice strong arms. Flip the the palm, and inhale, reach down the back of the leg. Maybe look at the fingertips. Several breaths, reaching down a fraction further on the exhale, feeling the lovely stretch up the top side, and then back to centre. Strong arms, nice deep inhale, exhale, fold and rest on the thigh, bring the top arm over, aligning it with the body and the leg. Several breaths, look at the fingertips if you can. And then bring it back up. Straighten both legs. And here we're going to turn the back foot in on an angle. Turn the front foot also in. So both feet are on the same track at angles. And then we're going to bend into the back knee. So we want the foot pointed on an angle, bend and lower down. Now you may only reach to here, that's perfectly fine. But you could also come onto the ball of the foot and bring it right down. So just let's hold it here wherever you are for several breaths. Stretching the other arm above and over. And then let's walk the hands down, lift it up, cross, stretch out. Either again, you may be here or down onto the ball of the foot and reach to the sky for several breaths. And then let's bring it back to centre, straighten up, square the feet off. I'm going to grab for the ankles and pull it down into the centre. Maybe reach through with the hands as far as you can reach to. And then lift it up halfway, hands on the hips. Bring it up, bring the heels back in, feet on an angle. Let's take it down into goddess. So reposition your feet so that when you've bent your knees, they're over the ankles. Pelvis tucked under, and cactus the arms. Nice deep breaths in and out. And then lift up onto the ball of each foot. Alternatively, and either continue that or bring it up onto the both of the balls of the feet at the same time. Focus on a spot. Nice deep breaths. Well done, and lower it down, and as we do so, bring the hands on the thighs. Just rest it forward, pelvis tucked under. Taking a nice deep inhale. Exhale one shoulder into the centre as far as you can, and then look behind. Several breaths. Back to centre, nice deep inhale. And opposite shoulder into the centre and turn, look behind. Several breaths. Back to centre. And then we'll release and bring it up. Arms out straight. Reposition the back foot out over to square with the back of the mat. Front foot forward. Inhale the arms to the sky. Turn to the front, bending into the front knee and flipping onto the ball of the back foot. So we're finding ourselves back in a nice deeper lunge this time, or as deep as comfortable for you. Making sure that the feet are both on separate tracks. If your feet are on the same track, you will feel like you are on a tightrope and it'll be much harder to balance. So just reposition the feet. And then we're going to push down into the hip, back into the heel. Nice deep breath. Lower, push back. and then cactus the arms. Nice deep breath. Exhale, lower it down, uncurl the toes. Inhale, open the heart, pushing down into the front hip, and sweep the arms down. Sink it back, straighten the front leg, flex the foot, hips are square, soften the knee if need be. You could use blocks here if you're struggling to reach the ground. Deep inhale, exhale, hinge and fold, and hold. Several breaths, bringing it a little closer down each time. And then gaze forward, weight down, frame that front foot, come out of the ball of the back foot, lift up, just rock it forward into pyramid, back foot 45 degrees, lengthen through the spine. Inhale, exhale, fold. Again, soften the knee if need be, grab the back of the ankle or the calf if you want to deepen it and pull it, help pull it in. And then let's take the hands, framing that front foot, bend the knee and step it together. Now you can have the feet hip width apart here or together. Fold it in. Remember a little gap between the heels, slightly turned in over. Fold it in. And maybe take a ragdoll. And let's bring it up with a nice deep inhale up to the sky. And exhale, pray. So after that hard work, that exertion, just take a moment to appreciate the freeing up of that energy, that feeling of exhilaration. Tuning into the breath. Just being fully present. And then preparing and composing ourselves to do the same thing on the other side. So always have a drink handy. Stop and rehydrate whenever you feel the need to. It's really hot today. We've had some lovely, unusual English weather. So I should really be doing this outside. But unfortunately, I think the neighbours would be wondering what I was doing, talking to myself. So here we go. When you are ready, standing, finding now a nice tall posture. Just doing whatever feels good for you. Tuning into the breath. Maybe you want to have a little movement of the head, softening of the knees and roll the head. Just listen to your body and do what feels right for you. And then arms down by your sides in mountain pose. Inhale up to the sky. Palms together, slight back bend. Press, soften the knees and fold. Inhale, halfway flat back. Bend the knees, hands down, stepping the opposite foot from what you did before. If you can remember, don't worry, drop the knees if you want to. Inhale, exhale, forward, all of the way up, down, halfway and up, dog. And lift it back to down dog. Deep breath in and out. And then lifting the left leg straight up in line with the body, activate, pointing that toe, tensing right through bum cheek, thigh, calf. Nice straight leg if you can, don't worry if you're not. Flex the foot, point the foot, bend knee, push the ground away, pull that hip back. See if you can notice that deeper stretch down the side. Circle the foot. One way, then the other way, and back again, and point the foot, straighten the leg, square the hips. Come onto the ball of the right foot, left knee through to nose, taking the weight forward, maybe come up under the fingers. Step it through, help it through if you need to. And feet again, separate tracks, bringing it up into a high lunge. Knee can be soft or straight. Several breaths. Well done. And then repositioning into warrior two. Strong arms, feet on the same track, heel to heel, heel arch. Make sure your knee hasn't fallen in or out. Directly above the ankle. Flip the front palm. Inhale, reverse, reaching down the back leg. Fraction further on each exhale. Back up to center. Nice strong arms, inhale. Exhale, rest on the thigh. Bringing the arm into alignment with the body. Look at the fingertips if possible. Focusing on the breath. And then bring it back up. Straighten both legs. Turning the front foot in, back foot in. And then we're going to reach down to the ground. And either you may stay here or come onto the ball of the foot. Straighten and flex the other foot. Several breaths. And then walking the hands across, position in front of your shin and reaching to the sky. Several breaths. And then walking it back to the center and taking the legs straight, squaring the feet and folding it down. Maybe grabbing onto the ankles or wherever you can get hold of, holding it in at the center. Maybe reach the arms through, walk the fingertips out over the opposite side as much as you can. Several breaths. And then let's lift it up halfway, hands on hips, bringing it up. Turn these feet on, back in on an angle. Reposition them if need be to the goddess pose once again. So the knees are just above the ankles. Strong arms. And then as before, onto the ball of the feet. Alternatively, breathing all the way. And remember, anytime you need to take a break, stop at any time. Continue to either alternate or possibly come up onto both together. Deepen the breath, focusing on a spot. Well done. And then let's slow down, rest into one thigh and reaching over with the opposite hand. Several breaths. And then exchange to the other side. Several breaths. It's quite intense. If you need to stop, that's perfectly fine. And then let's bring it back up to our standing up, turning that back foot 45 degrees, front foot pointing forward, flip the palms, inhale to the sky, Exhale, turn and bend into the front foot and flip onto the ball of the back foot. Again, if you find you're on the same track, wiggle the feet out a little. Deepen the stretch by taking the back foot further back. Pushing down into the front hip, back into the heel. Cactus the arms. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower, uncurl the toes. Inhale, once again, opening the heart, pushing down at the hip. Exhale, sweep the hands down. Sit it back, flex, straighten, or soften the knee, that's perfectly fine. Blocks again if you've got them handy, or books would do. Inhale, exhale. Fold with a nice deep stretch. Deep breaths, fraction closer on each exhale. And then gaze forward, plant the foot down, frame it, lift up, rock it up, pyramid back foot 45 degrees. Inhale, exhale, fold again, soften the knee if need be, grab hold behind to pull it in to deepen the stretch. And then gaze forward, step the feet together. Again, hip width apart or just together. Relaxing the head. And then if you bend the left knee, left hand to the ground, right knee straight. So this is where it might be easier if you have your feet with the hip width apart, stretching up to the sky. Several breaths, turn the palm, reach behind the back to the opposite thigh. So you may not be reaching the ground, you could use a block, pulling the top shoulder back. And then release the hand, bend the right knee, right hand to the ground, straighten the left leg, reach to the sky. Several nice deep breaths. Turn the palm, reach behind the back, towards the opposite thigh, top shoulder back. Breathing all the way. And release, fold it down. Maybe take a ragdoll. Just relax. It's another one of those moments of stillness where we can just let go. And hands to the ground, walking the feet out just about on the insides of the edge of the mat and bring it down into a squat. You may want to lift it. I'm going to move back into view, lift it up and down. If you want to help gently ease your way into that squat, if it's not comfortable for you, just to come straight down. A little wiggle from side to side, just feeling your own way into this squat. You could use a block to put behind your bum to help stop you from toppling over. If you are on the balls of the feet, often a simple case of just repositioning the feet, maybe taking them out a little or possibly bringing them in a little. Just play around and feel what's right for you. Palms together, I'm going to use the backs of the elbows to push out the knees, so we're lining the forearms there. Several nice deep breaths. And then you may want to just give it a little stretch in front of the thigh or knee here. The thigh, I mean the shin. And reach to the sky. You're stretching it out. Several breaths. And then back to prayer. Push out those knees. and then reaching across in front, up to the sky. Several breaths. Back to center. And then we're going to take it down onto our bums. Maybe if you're like me, you need to take the hands behind to help lower you down gently. And then let's give the legs a little shake out there. Soften the knees or bend them as much as you need to, because we want to hinge from the hips, bringing the chest to the thigh. Unless you are really super flexible, then you might have your legs straight. Still need mine a little bend. Reach up, nice deep inhale, really lengthening through the spine. Exhale, reach forward, bringing the chest to the thighs. If you rock the bum cheeks back out the way a little bit further, and grabbing onto wherever you can get hold of. It could be your calves, your ankles, feet, big toes, or you could reach beyond the soles and grab for your wrist or interlock the fingers. Deep breaths, deep stretch, just lengthening through the spine, gaze forward. Nice deep inhale, exhale, fold it down. And let's just set it up here. Bring in your left foot into, or one foot, doesn't really matter. Just finding a nice straight spine. And then we want to hug this snake. So I find if I pushed across there, reach across here with this arm, I can hug it in a little tighter. Reach behind with the same arm as the leg that's bent. And using that arm as a prop to bring your spine up nice and straight. So we don't want to be leaning back, we want to be vertical if possible. And then top shoulder back. Look behind, just breathe. Maybe you want to take the arm across. You might like to bend the elbow, bring the hand up, whatever feels right for you to encourage a deeper twist as possible. And let's release back to the front. Let that knee fall down. And we're going to pick up the foot. So if you take hold of the foot with the same hand, and then you may want to help pull it in easier. Find if you lean forward, hook the foot into the crease of the elbow, and then you can pull it up and in. But don't worry if you're here, just pull it in as close as you can, and gently, eventually, you will get it higher. Just like rocking the baby, it's called this one. So gently, just breathe with a gentle rock. And then lower down, placing the foot on the inside of the thigh. Using rocking forward and shift those bum cheeks out of the way. Flex the foot, reach up. Nice inhale, exhale, hinge and fold. Soften the knee if need be. And again, just reaching for wherever you can get hold of. Straps are handy here, I should have mentioned that before. So if you've got a strap or a towel or a belt, you can hook that over and just help lower yourself down. As close to the ground, your leg or the ground as you can. And then release, bring it up, take that leg out straight. Nice deep breath. Let's have a wiggle around, whatever feels good for you. And then bring the other foot in towards the bum cheek. Just hug it in here so we can find a nice straight spine. And again, so if you want to push that leg in, you reach across and hug. Use the other arm behind, say I'm falling back, the other is a prop to lengthen up the spine nice and straight. Twist and turn. Or again, maybe take the arm across. Whatever feels best for you to find as deep a twist as possible. So just turn, look behind. Nice deep breath as you close in the eyes. And when you're ready, release it back to the front. Let that knee fall. And then you could pick up the foot and holding the foot on the outside with the same hand, reaching forward with the opposite, placing the foot into the elbow, and it just helps pull that shin in towards the chest. Just a gentle rock, nice deep relaxing breath. A little closer if you can, a little higher. Maybe eventually you can touch your toe on your nose. And then release and place the foot down on the inside of the opposite thigh. Again, maybe just leaning and shifting the bum cheeks out of the way. And flex the foot, soften the knee if need be. Reach up with a nice deep inhale. Exhale, hinge and fold, pulling it in any which way you can. Well done, and let's just release that now. Straighten out the legs, give them a little wiggle, and gently roll it down now, one vertebra at a time. Arms down, palms facing up. Lift up the chest to tuck the shoulder blades away. Part the feet so they're just on the inside of the edge of the mat. Let the feet flop out. Taking a nice deep inhale, really filling up the lungs. Feel the ribcage expand. Hold for a second or two. And a big sigh out. Release, relax, and just surrender. Let the physical body melt away into the earth below. Just feeling the weight of it melt away. Closing the eyes. Looking into the center of the forehead, into that empty space. And with the lightness of the subtle energy body, feeling that floating freely. Immerse yourself into that empty space. And just float freely into it. Any thoughts that come into your mind, any worries, any cares, just exhale that out. Let that be absorbed by Mother Earth, taken care of. Just feeling the lightness of this subtle energy body floating freely into that empty space. thoughts will still want to keep coming into the mind, just catch them before they turn into a story and breathe them out. Maybe notice the rise and fall of your chest as you inhale and exhale through the nose. Just floating into that freedom and the stillness, embodying the peace and the calm. And then